Considering the fact that the iCarly reboot dropped today, and that I grew up on Nickelodeon TV shows, it's time to give you guys my top 10 favorite Nickelodeon TV shows of all time. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going through my top 10 favorite Nickelodeon TV shows of all time. This is a channel that I grew up watching. It was number 62, 63, 64 on my cable. So it was Cartoon Network 62, 63 Nickelodeon, 64 Disney. So those were the ones I rotated back and forth with. There are some classic TV shows here on Nickelodeon. I'm excited to talk about them all. iCarly got its origins on Nickelodeon. It is now on Paramount Plus for the reboot. I'm going to be having an episode 1 through 3 review later today for you guys, so stay tuned for that. Coming in at number 10 for me is going to be the Naked Brothers Band. Now, this is a show that had a very limited run, only about 2 seasons, I want to say, or at least 2 years. And I remember it had some really catchy songs. Motor Mouth is one that I'm thinking of right now. Crazy Car. So the interesting concept about this show was they would always have like a song or two every episode, I feel like. And it's not one that I remember distinctly as the others. I remember having iTunes and I would always go in and buy some of the songs and listen to them. Coming in at number 9 for me is going to be Jimmy Neutron. This is just a classic cartoon from growing up. Jimmy is a genius and his hair always looked like one of those chocolate swirly cones, but the animation style was very unique here. It actually had a movie, I believe, and then it became a show, or vice versa, one of the two. But I remember watching this one movie where all the adults got taken over and they had to like save the world. It was pretty crazy. But his friends Carl and Sheen are hilarious. There's a scene where Sheen's like, "I'm peeing in the shower." I don't know why that made me laugh so much as a kid. And then just the absurd antics of Carl. Coming in at number 8 for me is going to be Fairly Odd Parents. This has one of the catchiest theme songs from my childhood, and it's just, again, a really unique concept of the boy Timmy Turner, who has fairy godparents, Cosmo and Wanda. He basically has any wish that he wants. He's got a babysitter that's pretty evil, and all around it makes for entertainment. I mean, there were actually certain episodes that were a little freaky to me as like a young kid, like when I was 5 or 6, and it's actually part of the crossover event with Jimmy Neutron, and I think SpongeBob and Danny Phantom, they were in a video game that was so much fun playing as a kid, and I think they might have had crossovers for TV. I genuinely don't remember. Maybe it's just my mind messing with me, but they definitely had that crossover video game. Fairly Odd Parents is a classic. Even if you didn't grow up watching it, I feel like you would know the theme song if it played. Coming in at number 7 for me is going to be Big Time Rush. Of all the Nickelodeon shows, this has the best soundtrack in my opinion. They are bops after bops after bops. I still listen to their music in my car with Cam. The opening song is arguably the best to ever come out of Nickelodeon. I love the chemistry between the 4 dudes, and they're just funny. But Big Time Rush, or BTR, whatever you want to call them, one of the original boy bands that I'll always remember. Coming in at number 6 for me is going to be Zoe 101. This is another classic Nickelodeon show. I think that it's really interesting. The transitions I liked. I know that's weird. I always thought it was cool when they would be at school having like food in the cafeteria, or they'd have like a cool game room, or be drinking like some soda out of a bottle that I thought looked cool. These are the weird things that I looked at as a kid. I'm a very weird child, I know. There's a lot of serious aspects to the show as well that deals with like teen drama. This is where Victoria Justice pretty much got her start though, which led into another show we're going to talk about here in a second. But I remember Zoe 101 being the cool show that was kind of edgy for a young kid like me to be watching. So coming in at number 5 for me is going to be Victorious. As I mentioned, Victoria Justice is in Zoe 101, and now she's headlining a show called Victorious. This is a very interesting concept where they like put on shows and they take a theater class, and it's really crazy because they'll put on shows and do these eccentric things. The theater teacher was a nut in this show. I mean, he was just something else. Ariana Grande, of course, got her almost claim to fame through the show, which I know is very weird. This is one of the funnier shows. It's got a lot of catchy music to it. Coming in at number 4 for me is going to be the iconic, the classic SpongeBob SquarePants. This is a show that I feel like most children grew up watching, even though a lot of my friends growing up, their parents didn't let them watch it. Now, I didn't watch every episode, but there are some hilarious episodes of SpongeBob that still can crack a smile or make me laugh nowadays. The earlier seasons of SpongeBob are far superior to the new ones, especially like the stuff from 99, 2000, 2001. And there's some classic episodes. The Super Bowl episode is just one of the best things ever. You know, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, there's these recurring side characters that become iconic in and of themselves. Sandy's one of the great characters. Squidward, I mean, there's just so many tropes and bits throughout this show that are hilarious. They slipped in a lot of adult humor as well, which makes it even funnier if you go back and watch clips from SpongeBob, but it's one of the most iconic theme songs and just cartoons in general, so I had to make the list. Coming in at number 3 for me is going to be Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. Now, this is a show that did not have a very long run, but I loved the theme song and I loved the vibes. It made middle school look so cool as like a kid in elementary school. I was like, oh, middle school's awesome, but it's scary at the same time. So like, in that sense, it was helpful, I guess, but I always loved the character of Ned, and then you've got Cookie and Mose, just the supporting crew. And fun fact, I actually saw on TikTok that the guy who plays Ned was trying to pitch an adult version, surviving adulthood, for the people who grew up with the show, and they didn't get approved, which I think is stupid. I would have loved if they got the green light for that show. Sign me up for that. Coconut Head, there was the dude who spins the basketball on his finger. There were so many just iconic little side characters that made the show work. It painted middle school and the struggles of growing up pretty accurately. Coming at number 2 for me is going to be, drumroll please, iCarly, the show that just got a reboot for Paramount Plus. It's a runner-up to the show at number 1, which you guys probably have guessed by now. But it has Jerry Trainer, who is so funny as Spencer, the big brother to Carly, and it's a very unique premise. It was almost ahead of its time, as Sam and Carly have this web show that's basically a YouTube live stream at this point in time, or a Twitch stream even, and they do these eccentric, crazy things, and Freddy's the cameraman who lives next door. It's a very interesting premise, and again, it was so cool at the time because, like, as a kid, I wasn't really familiar with YouTube, I wasn't familiar with Twitch, I don't even know if it was around, so seeing people live stream and do these funny shows, and then having an interesting sitcom built into that made it very relatable. And Gibby is one of the funniest side characters ever. I don't think he's going to be in the reboot, which is a bummer, but I'm stoked to check out that reboot. I have not seen it at the moment of filming this. My review might be out, but I am going to check out the first 3 episodes later today with Cam. I'm very excited to get on that. iCarly is a classic show, but it falls short of my number 1, which is Drake and Josh, which in my opinion, there would be no iCarly without Drake and Josh. Drake and Josh is a comedy classic that still is hilarious to this day. Josh Peck's the best part of the show by far, especially when he's younger and he's like, "Headaches! You give me headaches!" The way that he just gets so worked up and antsy. That's me. But then, of course, Crazy Steve, played by Jerry Trainer, who's Spencer and iCarly, is one of the funniest parts of this show. I could quote this for days. It's the most quotable Nickelodeon show, which is why it's number 1. It's the most rewatchable. There are so many banger classic episodes. Then Helen, of course, working the theater. Gavin with the perm. Megan. It's perfectly written for a sitcom, and it's very relatable. I thought Drake was the coolest thing ever as a kid growing up, even though Josh was the better brother. It deals with relationships in high school, brotherhood, growing up, and it just has so many great comedic situations. But that's going to do it for my top 10 favorite Nickelodeon shows. Hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely hit the like button. Comment your thoughts down below. Let me know your favorite Nickelodeon shows. Are you excited for the iCarly reboot? Have you seen it yet? I can't wait to check it out myself. But thank you all for watching, and definitely consider hitting that subscribe button so don't miss out on any future videos. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Somebody's gonna be watching Nick Glockman tonight. They're gonna be in Oregon doing it before their 17th birthday. Josh Nichols.